Hey, buddy. How's everybody doing? Good morning. Happy Sunday, everybody. How are you guys doing? I guess we're on. Yeah. All right. So, how's everybody doing this Sunday? Good morning. Welcome to another live show, Addicted to Gear live Sunday morning show at 10 o'clock, like usual. I'm glad to see a bunch of people here already. It's always surprising when there's so many people waiting for me, and I appreciate that. I really do. So, today's show number 86. And oh man, I found my business cards. I was looking for them. They're right there. I was working on a guitar earlier this week, and I wanted to adjust some things. And there's nothing better to shim a neck than a business card. And I was looking for exactly. I know I have a stash of business cards that are really nicely laminated, and they make a perfect guitar neck shim. And I couldn't find it. I was looking all over the place. They're right here. They're right on my. I got a stack of them over here. Look at this. I saved them specifically for that reason, and I couldn't find them anywhere. Anyways, now I know where they are. It just shows that I need to clean up. My place is a mess. Yeah, a little bit of Cars to start off the morning. I'm only playing that. I'm not a huge Cars fan, but I tell you what, Elliot Easton has some great solos. For those of you who maybe have shunned the Cars for a while, I mean, they're not a new band. They've been around forever, and it's not everybody's cup of tea. But Elliot Easton has some amazing solos, and I highly recommend you guys listen to some of his solos and try to pick them up. The only reason I was jamming along with this song this morning is because we're throwing in one of these songs in the set list after, I don't know, so many years of not playing any Cars. And yeah, I really appreciated listening to Elliot Easton's solos, man. He's got some really melodic stuff happening out there. And again, highly recommend them if you haven't appreciated them in the past. So, good morning, everybody. I want to say good morning to the guys that are here. I'm going to work my way down in reverse order. So, Fat Philosopher, BC Rich 581, Jeff, Rico, Gospel of Mark, Quicksilver, Maserati Nation, Dan Smith, Keith, Cushman, Vox Guitars Rock, Quicksilver, if I've already mentioned Quicksilver before, but I'm going to say it again. Quicksilver. Christian is here from Germany. A whole bunch of other people too. Nice to see you guys. Seth is here. Paul's here. Larry. Good, good, good. Nice to see a great group of guys tuning in like usual. That's great. Fantastic. So we have a lot of great things to talk about today, so why not get started right away? First of all, yeah, Elliot Easton is and he's got a fabulous collection of vintage left-handed guitars. Yeah, he's a lefty. That's true. Yeah, and you know what? Nobody really talks about Elliot. You know, he's underrated in my opinion. Hey, good morning, Mark. Mark EFX is here as well. Dan of New Jersey, good morning. Yeah, so there's I think there's there's a lot less left-handed guitar players out there, and but he's a lefty, and he plays really well. Nice collection of guitars too. Definitely has a beautiful collection of left-handed vintage guitars. I'm jealous. So I wanted to say for all of the Canadian viewers out there, happy early Thanksgiving. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving in Canada. I know it's a little bit later in the US, but we're celebrating that tomorrow, so it's actually a day off. And that's enough already to give thanks for not having to go into work. But here on the channel we give thanks for that, as well as great gear and guitars and whatnot. So of course I want to hear about your acquisitions in a minute, but in the meantime, if any of you are from Canada, I hope you guys are going to have a really wonderful Thanksgiving. We actually celebrated a little bit early. We got together yesterday with some family. We did it a little bit early because October is a crazy month for us. I have birthdays almost every weekend. Today we're celebrating my dad's 88th birthday. So we're going to be spending some time with them. We have his birthday. My nephew's birthday is tomorrow. My birthday is on the 15th. My daughter's birthday is on the 8th. Sorry, my son's birthday is on the 18th. My daughter's birthday is on the 21st. So October for me is like, you know, party, 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 more cake, more party. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. So we try and squeeze in the events whenever we can. So that's why we celebrated Thanksgiving earlier. So what's going on, guys? What's going on? I don't know if Elliot Easton married a supermodel, but I wouldn't be surprised. They all do eventually. It's crazy that you know, these guys have all the luck, but hey, that comes with the property, I guess. You know, when you're a rock star. So let's see what you guys have been chit chatting about in the waiting room before I got on. And just to see if anybody has brought up any interesting gear-related comments, or maybe other things as well. Paul says, my laptop passed away. Oh, my condolences, Paul. My condolences. May it rust in pieces. I have a loaner for the day. The owner was kind enough to be away and could not say no. That's one way of doing it. You know, sometimes it's a sign. When the gear dies, it's time to upgrade. What kind of laptop did you have there, Paul? And what are you looking at getting to replace it? One of my laptops died not long ago either, due to water damage. And I'm sure it was one of my kids that did that. But I didn't know till I brought it in to get repaired. And you know, I thought it was just, you know, maybe the battery going dead or something. It wasn't charging. And they opened it up and they're like, well, you know, you have water damage on the motherboard. I'm like, really? How did that happen? I know I didn't drop anything on it. What are you going to do? Today is Tone Day. Yeah, Richard, that's a great, I like that. I like that. Tone Day. Great way of calling it. Randy, everything's cool here. How's everything with you, buddy? Now, Cushman says he picked up a Squier Strat with twin humbuckers used. He swapped in a DiMarzio PAF and Super Distortion. Sounds good. Plays okay. My new beater. Yeah, you can't beat those Squiers, honestly, for bang for the buck. And yeah, you put in a couple of good pickups in there and you're in business. Doug's all the way from England. Thank you for tuning in, Doug. I appreciate that. Got a few people from the UK. Alan's from the UK. Let's see. Who else? Who else? Anybody else? Great to be back. My internet keeps going down. I wonder why. What's going on with that? Hopefully we don't have any glitches here today. Paul says I wore the letters off of my laptop. It was past its best before date. I lost the B key, so I could only I could not enter my password. Yeah, isn't that funny when, you know, your keys start to stick or something and you're trying to continue typing an email and you're trying to avoid the words that have that word in it or that letter in it? It's happened to me before. It's the funniest thing. You have to become really creative. Oh man. Technology, hey? Let me tell you. Guys, first of all, I wanted to say, here we got somebody's asking some questions, so I'm jumping up and down. Thank you for the happy birthday for my wishing my dad happy birthday. Yeah, man, he 88. You know, he's getting up there. We have to really appreciate the days we have together because, you know, as they get older, you know, you see them kind of, you know, they're getting there, and you feel like you want to spend more time with them because, you know, the time is so important, so important. You got to appreciate them and be thankful for that as well. Let's see here what's going on. Maserati Nation says I'm in Dance à 10. I'm not sure what that means. Sounds like a strip joint. Sea Dive 300 says, have you tried any other guitar kits from Solo? Any guitar kits? No, I have not. But you know what, Sea Dive, a lot of these kits, are coming from the same place. You can really tell because they're same part, same box, same type of instruction. So I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, these guys are all getting their guitar kits from one or two locations. But I haven't tried the guitar kits specifically. You know, they do sell great stuff, and I'm gonna be probably building some other kits along the way for sure. But for right now, I'm concentrating on my Frankenstrat build, and I do have a couple of other things that I'm gonna be working on. That's one of the reasons why I'm also playing this guitar today. This is a Harley Benton Jr. By the way, yesterday I swapped out the bridge. The bridge that comes with this guitar, you know, I should make a video on this guitar because it's a great guitar overall, but you can really, with a couple of little things, you can make it even better. So I wanted just to quickly talk about the bridge. The bridge that comes with this guitar looks like this. Let me just show you here. So it's a wraparound bridge. Okay, let me just zoom in. Whoops, let me just zoom in so you can see this. So it's this type of bridge. It's got little independent saddle adjustment on it. And it's a wraparound bridge. But what I didn't like about it is look how tall it is. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see that. Let me just try and hold it up. Look how thick it is with the saddles and everything. It's really like, it's honestly almost an inch thick. And the little saddles here, they're so sharp that it wasn't really comfortable. So, as I mentioned in my review, I did a review on this guitar. If any of you are interested in picking one up, or if any of you have one already, you probably will know this. The bridge is way, 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 way higher, thicker than a regular bridge. Yeah, I can't really show you this. It's kind of hard to show you. Anyways, take my word for it. It's really thick. And so what ends up happening is that the bridge rests, even if it's all the way down on the body, it's actually really thick, so the strings can't really go as low as I would like them to go. I like my action to be relatively low. So I ended up swapping it out for one of these bridges. This is a Wilkinson wraparound bridge. It doesn't have adjustable saddles on it, okay? It's more like the PRS style bridges that they have. Very inexpensive bridge. And you can't adjust the intonation independently. But I tell you what, when I put it on yesterday, the intonation was almost like completely spot on, except for the higher strings being slightly sharp. So I just used the Allen key in the back here to push it out a little bit, and it was like dead on. So that was amazing. And I feel like the tone is better. It's definitely more comfortable for somebody who plays like this. You know, when you rest your hand on the bridge like I do, it doesn't scratch at all. It's really, really a lot more comfortable, and a great upgrade. So if you guys have this type of guitar with this type of bridge and you've been thinking about upgrading it to another bridge, I can tell you this bridge I bought off Amazon, and I think I paid it probably under 25 bucks. And it's a Wilkinson bridge. I can tell you it's a direct drop-in to the existing bridge. All you got to do is change the screws, the mounting screws. They come with mounting screws that fit into the existing locations on this guitar, so you don't have to pull them out. And it fits perfectly, and it's a great upgrade. I mean, night and day difference for me. It really is. So, you know, that is well worth it for me. Now, what else am I going to do to this guitar? I'm going to be probably also changing these guys. You know, I know the plasticky knobs are kind of like traditional for this type of guitar. I just don't like them. So I'm going to probably put in some better quality tuners. Possibly, I don't know if they're going to have to be locking. You know, I'm not that crazy about locking tuners anyways, but whatever tuners I could find for a good price, I'm probably going to upgrade those. The holes in here are probably going to have to become a little bit larger if we're going to go with a modern style tuner, because these are kind of, I'm pretty sure these are vintage holes. Vintage style holes are smaller, so I'm probably going to have to ream those out. and I've decided I'm gonna paint this guitar. I bought it. It's white or silver. I wasn't crazy about the silver. I wasn't crazy about the white. I decided to go with the white. It's kind of a matte white, but I always had the intention of actually taking this guitar and painting it. That's the reason why I bought it, and I don't mind it being white like this. So basically, I'm going to be painting this a metallic red. I recently saw a really beautiful picture of a vintage, well, it wasn't really vintage. It was a junior style guitar. It was a boutique builder, and he had posted a picture of it, and it had a beautiful metallic red finish on it. It was so sharp. So I went out and bought some red metallic paint. So this is gonna be my next project, is to paint this thing red. Hopefully it'll turn out okay, and I won't ruin the guitar. We'll see. To be continued. But I don't know why they don't put out some really nice colors. I mean, the silver is like, it's all right, and the white's it's okay, but I'm not a big fan of white guitars. Maybe if it was a cream or something, but more vintagey would be nice. But anyways, so we'll probably be making a couple of mods on this guitar. That's gonna be another project. I don't know when I'm gonna get around to that one, but it's gonna be hopefully soon before it starts to get cold. Jeff says Shane at In the Blues just posted a video of the Harley Benton Jr. SG. He said he had issues with sharp edges. I have the LP Junior style. It's the same. Can you post the model of the replacement replacement? Yeah, it's just Wilkinson. If you go on Amazon, you type in Wilkinson wraparound bridge. I believe the seller I got this from was Music Lily. They're one of the bigger part distributor on Amazon. I remember I was on Amazon.ca. CA, not .com, but I'm sure they sell the parts on either one. So you can get the replacement bridge right there, and it's a very simple thing to swap out. I didn't even change the strings. I just kind of loosened the strings off, put the old strings back on till I can see whether or not it was worthwhile for the if it worked out, then I'll change the strings on this. But it allowed me to fix a couple of things. I had the pickup here, the bridge pickup, really so high with the old bridge that it was actually flopping around. The screws were almost like coming off because they were basically at the end of the screw threads. So it got me to put that lower down now, and also lower the neck one a bit. I haven't dialed in the pickups just yet 100%. What I also may do when I get around to painting the guitar is probably change the nut. This is a plastic nut. I might actually put in something else, maybe a bone nut or a Graphtec nut or something. It's not urgent, but since I'm there, I might as well. So I'll keep you updated on those mods. Gospel of Mark says, I used to have a PRS SE One single P90 guitar and had to sell it, found another one and may buy it. I was looking for one of those, Mark. I really like those guitars, and I think the PRS ones are really sweet. The only reason I haven't picked one up is I don't really find them used much, at least in my neck of the woods, and B, the ones that are for sale usually are an ugly color. Like the ones that I've seen are natural wood, and sometimes the wood is not matched very nicely on those. It's pretty much the plain wood. So if I can get a nice one with a nice color, I'd be interested in buying one of those. That's one of the models that I'm keeping my eye out for. So Alan says, I have an older model with a rosewood fretboard. The headstock is off-putting. So are you talking about the Harley Benton, Alan, or are you talking about something else now? Longer screws would work. I just don't like having the pickup sticking out so much. It just looks odd to me. It's not natural to have the pickup like so high. Like now, it's much better. Very much. It really makes a lot more sense to have it like this. John says, this guy's talking about guitars again. No, this guy is talking about guitars still. You know what? If you want to reshape the neck, I don't know what's so off-putting about it. It's pretty plain Jane. Like, it's not the sexiest thing. But then again, neither is the Harley Benton logo. But yeah, you can reshape it. I just don't want it to turn into like a Gibson copy or anything like that. I'm okay with the headstock. They are hard. They're really hard to find used. Yeah, they're good guitars. Hey, Gonzo. Gonzo from Implicit Audio. What speaker are you going to use in the cab you're building, and why? So Gonzo, if you guys, let me just give a shout out to Gonzo, and it's a pleasure to have you here, Gonzo. So if you guys don't already know, I did a little review, more like an unboxing on the Implicit Audio cabinet. And they sell a really cool guitar cabinet kit that basically, it's almost like an IKEA thing, where you have all the parts in a box and you can actually put it together. There's nothing really to do, nothing to cut. You don't need any special tools. And you could put the cabinet together relatively quickly, probably in about 20 minutes. Not hard to do if you follow the instructions. Really nice cabinets made of Baltic birch. So I've put together the cabinet, Gonzo. That's the good news. Bad news is I haven't had a chance to route the edges that I wanted to do. I'm probably going to do that tomorrow. Since I have a day off, it'll give me a chance to do that during the day. And once the edges are rounded over, it's ready for the Tolex and stuff. So if I'm efficient at it, if I can do it quickly, I'll probably even try to wrap it with the Tolex and everything tomorrow. And it'll be almost done. But what speaker am I going to put in there? I think, well, I have a couple of speakers left over here. Well, not left over. I've had some speakers. They're in some boxes here. I don't even remember what they are. But one of them, here, let me check. I have them here. Might as well take a look. Just a second, guys. Don't move. I don't even remember what they are, to be honest with you. I think, well, I know one of them came out of my Supersonic because I returned the Supersonic back to stock. I put the Fender speaker back in, and I didn't, I think I'm going to put the other speaker back. I'm going to take the stock speaker back out again now that I decided to keep it. So this speaker is, what is this? This is a British vintage series guitar loudspeaker from Mojotone. So if you guys know Mojotone, a really killer speaker. This is an 8 ohm speaker. It's the model is BV25M if anybody is interested in checking that out. So that is one choice that I might end up putting in there. If not that one, then drum roll please. You guys don't know how messy my room is, but it's really messy. I got so much stuff in here. It's crazy. So the other speaker is this one. Oh boy. This is a Celestion. If you guys know Celestion, you'll know this one. So this is a Creamback G12M65. Beautiful speaker. So that's the other option that I have. And I do have some cabinets behind me that have other speakers, which sometimes I mix and match. I have a V-type, an A-type, Guitar Warehouse, ET65. There's a bunch of them that I have. And what I like to do is I like to mix and match them and see which ones actually work the best. So until I find the right one, I'll keep on trying. Let me put this back. All right. Oh man. Oof. You guys make me work. So yeah, so that's one of the options. But if you guys are interested in building some of these really cool cabinets, check them out. Implicit Audio. Yeah, the Creamback is a nice one. I like it a lot. The Mojotone is actually a really nice one too. They are nice. Yeah, Mojotone, the Mojotone stuff, Mark, is killer. They really make some really nice speakers. So that's it. If you have any questions about the cabinet, feel free to ask Gonzo. The 1x15 sounds cool, Gonzo. Yeah, that sounds sweet, man. You know what? It's hard to get a good cabinet, to find a good quality, well-constructed cabinet. I'm not gonna lie, Gonzo, and you might cringe when I say this, but yesterday I was actually installing an LED light above my workbench because I needed some additional lighting, and I actually stood on the cabinet to get to where I needed to go because the cabinet was on my bench. I just put it down, and I was thinking about it. I'm like, I don't know, should I do it? Should I? And the little voice in my head says, yeah, go ahead, do it. Let's see. So I can actually vouch that the cabinet withstood, and I'm 220 pounds, guys. So I was standing on that cabinet, 220 pounds, no issue. You know, didn't crack. I didn't hear any strange cracking noises or anything. So I can honestly say they're well built. That was the acid test, so to speak. Anyways, going on to other things. By the way, and I know we're talking about speakers here, and I'll just get into the speaker conversation here a second, and then I'll jump in with something I wanted to share. Speakers are perhaps the biggest tone change you can do with your gear. If any of you know this, it is opening up a can of worms, because now, you know, if you thought it was a can of worms playing with pedals and getting the right tone, or swapping pickups and trying to get the right tone, when you throw in speakers and cabinets in the mix, I'm gonna tell you honestly, you jump down that rabbit hole at your own risk. That's gonna be another one, man, because it really does make a huge difference in terms of the sound that you're getting out of your equipment. And sometimes, you know, if you're shunning that amplifier, before you throw it away or sell it, swap the speaker, man. It makes a huge difference. Way more than just you know, swapping the. A lot of people like to swap the tubes. Honestly, I think a tube swap is worthwhile in some cases, but it's not going to be as noticeable as swapping the speaker. It really isn't. So, and it's relatively inexpensive. The thing with swapping speakers is that if you don't like them, it's easy to sell them. You know, you're not going to lose too much money on a speaker because, you know, you have a Creamback. They're around the same price new or used. Generally, if you buy the speakers used, you're not really paying full price anyway, so they tend to hold their value. No big deal. You know, you can always swap it and try something else until you find the right combination for what you like to play. But I've done that many times. If I don't really think the cabinet or the amplifier is giving me 100% of the tone I'm after. But definitely worthwhile trying that if you haven't already done that. You can definitely get a lot more and squeeze a lot more tone out of it. What else? Jeff says, I got some old 70s Celestions. I really should do something with them. Yeah, man. Definitely. Put them in a cabinet. Do something with them. Vox is saying he loves the Celestion 1030s. Is the cabinet open or closed? So the cabinet right now is an open cabinet. And the reason for that is, well, first of all, it comes as an open cabinet. You could probably easily convert it into a closed back if you want it to be. I don't mind having an open back because everything I have in here is closed back. So my 412, obviously the Marshall, it's closed back. The cabinet in the corner, you can't see it there, but it's behind the Telecaster. That's an Eggenator cabinet 1x12 that I picked up a long time ago. It's closed back, but it does have the option of pulling out the center panel if you want to open it up. And the 2x12 that's over there is also closed. So it's going to be nice to have an open back cabinet. I like the sound of open back. You don't get as much, you know, punch from an open back as you do from a closed back. But at the same time, I feel that you get more disbursement out of an open back, more air. So it's going to be nice to have one of those. My favorite speaker so far, the one that I've actually got lucky enough to find, is an original ET65, not the ET65, the 65 speakers that from Celestion, the vintage ones from England. This cabinet, the Marshall cabinet here, has 4 of those in there, and they're really hard to find, those speakers nowadays. The Guitar Warehouse speaker version of those, the ET65s, are good. I like them, but they don't sound the same. They don't. So if you're looking for that vintage broken in sound, you really have to find a set of the old ones. And the Chinese ones are not the same as the original ones that were made in England. I just got lucky, man. I bought this cabinet used. I think I paid it $400 used. The guy had it in his garage attic, and he pulled it out. I didn't know what speakers were in it, by the way. I just wanted a cabinet. I ended up getting this cabinet. I opened it up, 4 of those speakers in there. Each one of those speakers are probably selling for over $200 now. Just the speakers. That was one of those ha 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 moments. I love those moments. They don't happen often enough. Seth says, Tony, someone who wants the best tone under 1K, should the split be $300 guitar, $700 amp, or $700 guitar and $300 amp, or $500? I'd probably go $300 guitar, $700 amp. Great question. That is a great question, Seth. That question alone deserves its own video. I would say, if you want the best tone under $1,000, I would say take, I would say 50% of what you're going to spend, invest it in lessons. Honestly, lessons with a good guitar teacher. Take that and invest it in lessons. And honestly, the rest, it might, I mean, look, it's a little bit of tongue in cheek, but it's actually not. You can spend a ton of money on gear, but if you can't play, there's no point. So number one, learn how to play. The best tone you're going to get, or the best tone improvement you're going to get, is from your fingers. You know, I say this over and over again. If I would spend less time fooling around with gear and more time playing guitar, I wouldn't probably have to mess around with gear as much. Oftentimes we end up messing around with gear to hide, you know, the shortcomings of our playing. Let's face it, guys. I think that's true. Because honestly, if you're a great player, you can have a simple guitar going into a regular combo, nothing in between, and still sound amazing, you know. So that's my advice. But let's put that aside. Let's wrap that up and put it in a neat little box. Let's say we can play. Let's say we don't need lessons. Then I would say, you know, the ultimate, it's a shame to see someone with a really nice guitar and have really crappy sound. And I've seen this in videos over and over again, where they have amazing gear, amazing guitars, but they're playing through something that makes them sound like they're playing through a can filled with bumblebees. Case in point, I mean, I saw this recently. I almost freaked out. I couldn't believe my ears. But none other than Joe Walsh. You know, I love Joe. He's been around forever. Everybody knows Joe from the Eagles. He was doing a demo for a guitar for for Paul Reed Smith. Beautiful looking guitar. I'm sure the guitar played amazing, but he was playing. I don't know who recorded the sound on this, but it sounded terrible. You can go in and I don't know if they yanked it from YouTube yet. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. I don't know, but it was out there for a while, and he was talking about this guitar. He was actually promoting it, right? Sounded so bad. So I would say definitely you want to have a good sounding amplifier, a good guitar, obviously. And it's a question of balance. You know, I think you have to kind of go in and try to upgrade both your guitar and amplifier to keep up with one another. That's my advice. Fat Philosopher says PRS look nice, but they play like crap. I don't know what kind of PRSs you're trying, Fat Philosopher, but I have to disagree on that one. Oh, my little dog here came to say hello. She's awake for once. Maserati Nation says, great advice. Buy the guitar that you like first. The fretboard feel is so important. I'd rather have a great guitar and use plugins than a guitar I hate with a great amp. That is true too. It is frustrating. Either way, it's frustrating. If you have a really great guitar and you're not getting great sound out of your amplifier or vice versa, it's frustrating either way. Yeah, Vox, she's not a puppy. She's actually 12 years old. She's far from being a puppy. She's a senior citizen right now. And for once, she's actually awake. Usually she's snoring in the background. Yeah, Mark, I agree with you, man. For me, the PRS necks are the easiest playing necks I've ever tried. So, when somebody says that they play like crap, I don't know. Maybe you got something strange. But I never experienced a crappy playing PRS guitar yet. Yeah, dog in the background. Seth says, I have to say I really did like playing my 73 Strat through a $30 Mustang 2. I can usually find one or two nice sport tones or even a cheap amp. Yeah, some gear is just great for that. It's just like, even though the piece of gear is really inexpensive, there's that one good sound that makes that piece of gear worth keeping. Sea Dive 300. I keep trying to like PRS, but they never feel right to me. Well, you know what? Look, feel is different. I mean, if it's a question of feel, you just don't like the feel of the guitar, I understand that. But when, if you're saying it plays like crap, I don't know what you mean specifically. If it means that you just don't like the feel of the guitar, I understand that. It's not everybody that likes the feel of a PRS. If you're used to playing with another guitar, it'll seem odd to you. But for me, like Mark said, plays like butter. Yeah, it's going to be the same here, Leo. Probably going to rain today. I was hoping to barbecue a little bit later on, but it might not happen. It's a cloudy day. Perfect day to work on guitars. If I didn't have people coming over today, I'd definitely be working on my guitars. I have plenty to do. Between the cabinet, the Frankenstrat, the modification on the Suhr guitar. I don't know if I showed you this, but I slapped in some of the pickups in the Suhr pickguard that I purchased. So the Suhr pickguard is going to go into the Suhr guitar with the new pickup soon. That's another project. I'm also building another Strat, and that's kind of being worked on in between all the other ones. And I finally got the order from Stu Mac, finally. So now I have the locking nut that I'm going to be using for the Frankenstrat build that I was waiting for. Christian beautifully, so sweet of him to actually volunteer to send me a beautiful German-made Floyd Rose for that build, which is awesome. And I thank you again, Christian. I can't thank you enough for that, which is going to go into the build. it was missing the little locking nut. So I ordered one. Now I have it. So that's going to be the next thing that I'm going to be working on. I'm still painting that guitar. It's almost like that guitar is cursed. I don't know what's going on with it, but it's like I actually did black paint on that guitar 3 times. And even now, it's not the way I want it to be. It's almost like it's fighting me. This build is fighting me. But I'm pushing forward, and once I have the black paint on it ready to go, I'm gonna stripe it black white, and then black white red, and then we can start putting that thing together. So hopefully in the next week or so, I will be able to achieve that if I don't have any other snags along the way. Yep. All right, so okay, so now we're getting into the PRS discussion. Sorry, Fat Philosopher, I didn't mean to put you on the in the spotlight with that remark, but excuse me, you guys make me laugh. Fat Alan says someone said that PRS guitars are coffee tables with pickups. Yeah, they really are. They're really that type of thing, right? But you know what? I really do believe that in the next, 30, 40 years, those guitars are going to be like something to really cherish. The quality's great. The woods are great. The price tags are really like flabbergasting. That's the only thing about PRS guitars is like, you really have to sell a kidney to get one. I'm lucky enough to have one U.S. made PRS that I really like, the 245 that I purchased. That might be the only PRS I'll ever own. I can't afford a million PRS guitars or even 2 PRS guitars at this point. But I'm always keeping my eyes open for deals on the U.S. stuff. But I mean, they're really expensive. A great alternative is the SE stuff. Still very good. The only thing, the shortcoming on the PRS guitars, and I still say that today, is the pickups. I think they're trying to make their own pickups, and I know they're trying to use the formulas, and they bought the equipment from the old Gibson factory that they were using to wind the pickups, and apparently they got the same spool of wire that they left over, and they had made the pickups and stuff. Again, I don't know if this if this is just smoke. They tend. Paul likes to blow smoke sometimes, and says likes to talk about how great his stuff is. But I still feel that the proof is in the pudding. A lot of times the pickups they're lacking. Let's be honest. So, but it doesn't mean the guitar is not great, because you put in a good set of pickups in those guitars, and they just shine. Excuse me. I like that comment, Fat Philosopher. That's good. I like it. 1 point for Fat Philosopher. He says, PRS took the worst parts of both Gibson and Fender and combined them. I like that. That's really funny. So Seth says that the Silversky has the best Strat style pickups I've ever played, hands down. I can't comment on the Silversky, Seth. I never played one. They're not. I haven't seen one in a store here where I am. I've been trying, but I haven't seen any. Love to try it. Maybe it's better if I don't try it. So Mark, which ones do you feel are the better PRS pickups, in your opinion, of the ones you've tried? The 5909s? Quicksilver says the 5909s. Yeah, those are probably the ones that are the most sought after. Everybody seems to think those sound great. Can't get them, though. Really hard to get a set on the used market for a decent price. They're really expensive. So, Mark, you too? You think the Silversky smoked any Strat that you ever played? Dude, don't tell me that. That's crazy. Well, you know what? They're too darn expensive, man. And I, when I looked at them, I made fun of them at the beginning. I'm going to be honest. I made fun of the Silversky models because I looked at it and I'm like, what? Do not adjust your set. What the hell is that? I'm like, they're basically copying a Strat. I mean, it's pretty close. Let's be honest. I mean, yeah, they did tweak it. They do have little tweaks in there, but I mean, nobody would not think that it doesn't look like a Strat, in my opinion. But yeah, I think you guys are right. I think I shouldn't try the Silversky. That's all I need. Another reason to drop $4,000. They'll all sound the same through a big muff. They'll all sound the same through one of those new Wazacraft metal zones. Did you guys see that? I couldn't believe it. I'm like, what? I think people are losing their marbles. I honestly do. If you guys don't know, the metal zone pedal. This is a Boss, the Black Boss metal zone pedals that came out way, I don't know how many years ago. I had one when I was a kid. So they've probably been around forever. You can probably buy a used one for $40. Metal Zone, they're called. Terrible pedal. I mean, this is probably the worst pedal I've ever tried in my life. They sound like bumblebees. Basically, you're playing through bumblebees. A can of bumblebees. Anyways, Boss re-released a Wazacraft version of this pedal now. Don't ask me why. I don't know why. So now you can buy, a pretty crappy pedal for $129. Hey, genius. Anyways, yeah, there's a lot of reasons to avoid that one, but somehow somebody, maybe a marketing guy, I don't know, in the Boss team decided it would be a good idea to re-release it and maybe charge people more just by slapping that Wazacraft sticker on it. I have a feeling that Boss, with this Wazacraft stuff, is going through the same kind of thought process that people are going through when it comes to, like, buying a custom shop or a Murphy Lab thing or one. Just like, let's figure out a way to charge people more money for the same stuff. But anyway, good point, Mark. Why is it some brands make... Not some brands. I mean, almost every brand at some point has a Strat copy or something close to it. Suhr, exactly. Look, I have a Suhr. I have one. It's pretty much a Strat copy with a few tweaks. Super expensive guitars. Uber expensive guitars. Is it worth it? I'm swapping the pickups on mine, just to tell you. I still haven't bonded with that guitar. So yeah, it looks like a Strat. Does it play like a Strat? Not really. Definitely feels different. Is it worth the money? Meh. It depends. I'm not gonna lie. I know a lot of people love the stuff. It's a great... I mean, the guitar is built extremely well. The warranty on the neck is like a lifetime warranty. When I had an issue with the nut getting seized on it, and I couldn't loosen it, and I thought I was going to break the neck, contacted Suhr, actually messaged John Suhr himself. How often can you get that kind of customer service where you can actually directly message the president of the company or the owner of the company? Anyways, he answered me. He's like, don't worry. He's like, crank the shit out of it. It'll loosen up. Put a little bit of grease in there. Should be fine. If you break it, send it back to me. I send you another neck. Free. I can't argue with that. That's fantastic customer service. You're never going to get that from Fender. I doubt very much you'll even get that from Gibson. So that's worth money. Definitely, but you pay a lot of money for that stuff. I mean, for the money you pay, you should be getting that kind of service, but you don't always get that kind of service. Let's all play P90s and call it a day. I agree. Dan of New Jersey, excellent idea. I put my guitar down now, but I'll pick it up in a bit. TG Nugent, welcome. TG Nugent's asking, who am I? I'm Tony. Nice to meet you. Rico says, I just didn't like the Silversky neck at all. Way too thick, but I agree the pickups do sound nice. I wonder if Suhr will, not Suhr, but PRS will ever sell those pickups separately. Probably not. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they are available separately. Basically, you can probably, I wouldn't be surprised if they cost more, about half the price of a guitar. If I know PRS. I freaked out when I saw the price of a knob. There was, I think 2 knobs, something like that. $46 US plus shipping. What? Anyways, don't get me started, guys. Don't get me started. Just catching up on the chat here. You can have the whole hive, exactly. Leo says, never tried them. I've been on a Pariah kick lately. Pariah makes great pickups. Reviewed some on our channel as well. I threw a bunch and some guitars. Definitely felt they were great. What's your thought on humbucker size? P90s. Larry, I love P90s. I think they're great. I don't have enough guitars with P90s. I just have 2 right now with P90s. I have a gold top Harley Benton Les Paul copy with P90s. I did a review on that guitar, and I did a review on the pickups as well. And the Junior here with P90s. Those are the only 2 guitars that I have with P90s, but I love P90s. I'm a big Telecaster guy, and I find P90s sound like a fatter version of a Telecaster. If it, except for the hum, the noise, 60 cycle hum, because they're not noise canceling, that's the only drawback with P90s. The rest, you can get a really nice bite out of P90s. I like them a lot. Everyone should try P90s at least once. Leo says he's heard good things about Suhr. My tech raves about them. Like I said, the Suhr guitars are built really, really well. There's nothing against. I have nothing against the build quality of a Suhr guitar. They're amazing. It's just the price. They have to figure out how to make guitars that good at a cheaper price point. That's all I'm bitching about right now. Even Gibson made a Strat style guitar. Yeah, I think they did. Everybody did at a certain point. I don't think anybody, every guitar, almost every guitar is loosely built or loosely designed around a Strat, Think about it. Even the early Ibanez guitars, the one I had originally, I bought because I couldn't afford a Strat. That was the closest Strat shape I could get. It had 3 single coils on it. It had the Strat shape on it. The body was very, very close to a Strat. They moved away from it now. They're getting less Stratty, but originally they weren't. They were pretty close. Rico says he has an LTD Strat copy that plays amazing. There you go. Fat Philosopher says the metal core is the best of the 3 Boss heavy metal distortion pedals. Perhaps. I haven't tried it. But I know the Metal Zone was garbage. Paul says these days all styles of music and genres have a sizable following with their own YouTube channels. So the Boss Wazacraft metal pedals have thousands of waiting customers. I agree, for sure. I don't doubt that. I'm sure they're great selling products because they're in the right price point. Yeah, I agree with that. Um, Mark says the Silversky neck was pretty massive, like an old 61. So you have to like the fatter, more massive necks. Is that the only style that they have though on those ones, or do they actually sell some that have thinner necks? Like I said, I haven't had an opportunity to lay a finger on one yet. Charles wants to know, have I ever bought a guitar just to get the pickups? No. However, there was a Strat that I did pick up at one point that had an amazing set of pickups in it. And it only came with that particular model. I didn't know at the time. I sold that guitar. I didn't bond with the guitar, but the pickups were amazing. And I ended up selling the guitar. And only after, I should have thought about it and just like took the pickups out and sold the guitar only. I thought I was able to get those pickups separately, but apparently Fender doesn't sell those pickups unless you buy that guitar. So I was a little disappointed. All right. Fender actually does have excellent customer service, super surprising, but from what I've heard from customers getting repairs, they are super friendly and pretty fair. Okay, so I stand corrected. I've only had to contact Fender once, and it was really just to check a serial number. I was just curious to see if the guitar body I had purchased was legit, and it had the little QR code sticker in it, and I called them, and they were able to validate that it was an authentic body. But the guy that I got on the phone seemed very bitchy. I don't know if I caught him on a bad day or something, but he didn't seem like he was really pleased to be helping me. Fat Philosopher says Gibson repair shop in Japan at least is a nightmare. Great way to mess up your guitar is to send it to Gibson. Now hold on, is it really the Gibson repair shop, or is it just a repair shop affiliated with Gibson? So the guitar shop is like a local shop that Gibson will use to send the repairs to. There's a difference there. Gospel of Mark says Philip McKnight made a humbucker-sized P90 video and they sounded amazing. I think they were DiMarzios. They sounded more like P90s than the Seymour Duncan Fat Cats. Yeah, it's great to be able to have full-sized P90s. So if any of you want to, try to see if the P90s work for you and you only have a regular guitar, you can swap out the pickups in that and put P90s in, which I think is great because honestly, when you buy a guitar that's specifically a P90 style guitar, you're kind of stuck with that pickup size unless you put mini humbuckers in it. So it's great to have the option of actually putting a full-size pickup that is a P90 in it. So Leo says, just put a Pariah Pasadena White in my EVH. Black and yellow, looks and sounds just like Ed's 78 Bumblebee. I might be aiming for a pickup like that for my Frankenstrat build. I'll have to contact the guys over at Pariah maybe and get them to make one for me and send it over. But I haven't decided what I'm going to put in there yet. I have a whole bunch of pickups left over here. So, and I know there's a couple of good ones in the batch as well. So we'll see. But I'm going to get there soon. Mark EFX says, Mew Pedal Day, Wampler, Ratsbane, and Source Audio Kingmaker Fuzz. Haven't plugged them in yet. But what are you waiting for, Mark? Come on, we need some feedback here. No pun intended, but we need to know how they sound. So what, the Ratsbane is the Wampler take on the Rat? I'm just assuming here. I'm not really sure. Shatner goes to space on Tuesday morning. Really? Oh, man. By the way, what did I say earlier? I brought up something and I forgot. Oh, yeah. My memory is going thinking about 3 different things at the same time. For those of you who don't know, I actually stumbled across the fact that Google now, if you guys use Google, you know Google, that thing on your computer when you go on the internet, the Google browser now has a built-in tuner. Did you know that? This is the little dumb fact for today. You can go in and you can actually just type in a tuner, guitar tuner, and it'll pop up a guitar tuner for you. And you can actually use your speaker on your phone or on your... yeah, let me see if I can pull it up on my phone. Probably can. Let's see here. Anyways, you have a guitar tuner. So if you're looking to actually tune your guitar, let me see here if I can find it. I get all the ads first, you know. Here we go. Guitar tuner. Press mic to begin tuning. So once you, let me see here. You gotta allow the mic. Look, I don't know if you can see that, guys. How come? It's too bright. Okay, let me. It's actually listening to me right now. Can you see that? There you go. So it basically listens and tunes your guitar. So if you don't have a tuner, you don't have to go and buy one. You can just use your browser. You can use your phone. Finally, Google's using the spy technology that's listening to everything we're saying for good. Google, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. You're going to see my YouTube channel mysteriously disappear because I'm making fun of Google that actually owns YouTube. So if this stream suddenly just stops, you'll know why. I'm only joking, Google. I'm only joking. I know you're not listening to everything I'm saying. Yeah, right. Anyways, the other thing is if you're, obviously everybody needs a good tuner. I've been looking for one that I can use on my bench because I'm a little bit tired of the neck, the ones that hook onto the neck and stuff, the snarks and those type of tuners. I really need something that works well when I'm on the bench and something small, reliable. The Peterson strobe stuff is amazing. I know Peterson strobe technology just came out with a new version. I have one on my phone, which is actually quite amazing, I have to say. If I just type in strobe here, I'll find it. I have too many apps, that's the problem. Hey. But man, my phone doesn't want to cooperate with me today. What's going on? Anyways, I got the Peterson strobe tuner on my phone. If I can find it for you guys. Here we go. It's called the Istrobosoft. This guy. It actually works really, really well. As you can see, I'm just talking. It's trying to tune my voice. But it's a strobe tuner, and it works with your phone. I paid this thing $9 probably 10 years ago. They're still supporting it. It's still working on my phone. And this is often what I'll use when I'm intonating my guitars. I highly recommend if you guys grab one of these things. It really works really well. And it sure beats the new ones that they have now that are going for, I don't know what, 160, 170 bucks US. They're cool. They're small tuners that they have. It's HD apparently. It has other functions on the actual physical one you could buy. I think there's a metronome on it, and there's a couple of other things that you can do with it. It's good to have, but for $9, man, this thing can't be beat. It really works well. I don't know what you guys are using. TG Nugent, are you using the app on your phone as well? You need a strobe tuner. You really do. If you're working on a guitar, you need a strobe tuner. Vox is saying tuning your guitar is overrated. Leo, what guitar tuner is that on your? Okay, the guitar tuner. So there's the Google one you can use, and there's the Peterson. It's called Istrobosoft. So I think if you go to the App Store, it should still be there, unless they don't sell it anymore, which I'd be surprised and a little disappointed, to be honest with you. Let's see if I can find it for you. But it's Istrobosoft. I'll type that in first, see if it's there. No results. It would be a shame. Oh, it's still there. It's called Istrobosoft. Okay, and there's an update for it. I might as well download that while I'm here. Istrobosoft it's called, and by Peterson, the guys who make the strobe tuners. So check it out. I think you guys definitely worth the $9 or whatever they're charging for it now. Vox says, I thought strobe tuners were for disco. They do tune guitars better if you play disco on it while you're tuning the guitar. Mark says he's got, what has he got? He's got an app on my phone to tune if I'm not hooked onto my board. Yeah, me too. I usually have that on my phone because, sometimes you need a tuner and you don't have one. This way you always have one with you, right? Paul says 3 years ago, there was a YouTube Dumble versus pedal with the pedal being the Vertex Ultraphonics. Yes, they sound the same. Callan's Melodrive is a scary close clone for $40. And he ordered one. Are you, when did you just ordered this, Paul? I wonder though, those Dumble clone pedals and stuff like that, you have to have, in my opinion, you have to have a good clean amp. It's hard to get the pedal to come through some amps if they're not really made for that sort of clean tone, right? Because Dumble's generally pretty clean. So if you probably use the pedal with a Fender amp, some kind of Fender clean amp, should be okay. But I don't know if you're going to get the same results with all amplifiers. But let me know how it sounds. The Melodrive. In case anybody wants to try that out if you're a Dumble fan. Dan of New Jersey says, I believe the Peterson app is not a true strobo tuner, unlike the pedal. Well, I mean, it's obviously going to be a simulation of a strobe pedal. But, well, a strobe tuner, not a pedal. It's actually not a pedal. But the one that they're selling is also not really a strobe tuner. I mean, the strobe tuners are big boxes like this, right? It's not the same. They actually have physical wheels that are spinning and all kinds of stuff. So you found it, Istrobosoft. So it's $4.99 on the Play Store. That's actually cheaper than what I paid. I think I paid it $9 at the time when it came out. TG Nugent says, I was surprised by how steady and accurate it is. I have the Polytune 3 pedal, and the Peterson is a way better tuner. Wild for it to be an app, I think you meant. It is wild, and that's why I still have it. I think it's one of the best tuners I've tried as an app. It doesn't jump around as much. And if it does, it's also, you got to make sure you're close to the source, right? Slushy's selling all his amps and going to use his new Headrush MX5 for everything I do. It's that amazing. Slushy, I'm happy for you, dude. I'm happy that you made that decision. I would hang on to the amps for a bit just to be certain through experience. And this is just, I'm not trying to jinx it for you at all. And I'm really happy if you have the sounds. And if you think the Headrush does it all for you, fantastic. But I've been ping-ponging back and forth like that a couple of times. And I'm mostly back to pedals. I still have multi-effects units. I like multi-effects units, but at the same time, there's just something about playing through an amplifier. I don't know what amps you have, in terms of what you've already, what you're using. Oh, something's blurry here. There we go. But maybe your amps, maybe the amps you have are not fantastic amps, but if you have really good tube amps, before you sell them, just my advice, you do what you want, hang on to them for a while. Just out of curiosity, Slushy, what kind of amps do you have? I'm just wondering. Lempu says, I've been using those Goto locking tuners and that Floyd Rose 1000 series, which I got for cheap. And to be honest, I am surprised that it holds tuning as good as it does right now, except the G-string. There's always that G-string. That's the freaking G-strings are the ones that always get you. That's great if you're getting a good tuning stability with the Floyd Rose 1000. Fantastic. Definitely cheaper than getting the other ones. The 1000s are not the cheapest model that they have, but the key is really just making sure everything is really cranked down. The locking nuts cranked down. There's no space between the locking nut and the edge of your fretboard. Sometimes when you're pulling up and down on the trem, you'll see the little nut actually moving sometimes if it's not cranked down properly. Sometimes the people will use cheap screws or not the right type of screws to grip into the neck properly, and that'll also cause problems. But yeah, once you have it all in balance, it works like a charm. And when you do have it in balance, try not to change anything. That's the disadvantage with Floyd's, man. It's like it takes a long time for everything to stabilize and you get everything working the way you want it to work. And then, you change something, you got to start again. Well, Paul, let us know, man. Let us know when you get that pedal. I'm curious to see what you think about it. Yes, the original Dumble amp was a Fender Deluxe clone with a tube screen built right into it. It's funny how, the Dumbles are like world renowned. They're, super uber expensive amps. Everybody thinks they sound fantastic. And they had like that pedal thing built in so you can get a really nice overall sound. And it's it's funny that things like the Blackstar amps kind of do that. I'm not saying Blackstar is like a Dumble. I'm not saying that, but it's funny that the Blackstar amps do get a bad rap. A lot of people don't like the Blackstar amps because they kind of do that with the drive channel. It's almost like they built in a pedal circuit to be able to get that drive. And to be honest with you guys, I took the Blackstar combo amp. It's still there. It's right there. I'm still playing it. It's usually in the corner, but I took it out. And I took it out and played it with the gig that we had last weekend. The thing rocks, man. Honestly, it's a great amplifier. I gotta say, the Jared James Nichols model that I have, and it's not just because I have it, that's because it's mine that I'm raving about it, but I really think it's a great amplifier for the money. It's got the 2 channels, it's got the 5-watt mode, it's got the 20-watt mode, it's got a digital reverb. Okay, a lot of people don't like digital reverb, whatever. I don't mind digital reverb. I think in many cases it's more reliable, but that's just me. 2 channels, 2 voices on either channel. It does a respectable clean. It does a really nice drive. I wasn't even using my pedals. And the thing cranks, man. I actually usually plug in through a cabinet when I go to the sessions. And last week I didn't. I just went straight from 1x12. That's it. And it wasn't nearly cranked up as loud as it could go. I had no trouble hearing me over the drummer. Actually, was even maybe a little bit too loud because I do get carried away sometimes. But I was able to get a really nice clean, a really nice drive. I did have a little delay in the loop sometimes. And if if you don't like the reverb, well, you put in a reverb pedal in the effects loop and you're in business. And it even has the boost. You can actually boost it if you want to boost it up for solos. Work like a charm, And I'm not going to say like the speaker in there is not the best speaker. It's a decent speaker. I haven't tried playing around with speaker swaps on that yet because I'm kind of satisfied with it. But it's just surprising to me that they do get a bad rap. And I still haven't actually done a review on this. I mean, I did like a little overview where I didn't actually play the amplifier, and I still should do that. I haven't done it now because the amp has been out for a while. And so there's a lot of people that have done reviews on it already in terms of the tone and stuff. So I don't know if it actually would get that many views because, again, it's a limited thing. A lot of people are not necessarily into Blackstar amplifiers, and it's been around for a while, so it's not a new thing that people are interested in checking out right now. But in their lineup, I like them. Alan, I would say you're right with the other models, but this one, I have no trouble playing clean through this one. It actually has a very nice clean tone. Only basic tone controls on the clean channel. You're right, and that is something like very similar to what Fender does. If you buy, let's say, one of the small tweed amps, you have volume and tone. That's it. But honestly, sometimes that's all you need. If you need more tweaking than that, you can always use an EQ pedal. But I find that it does a respectable job with the cleans. Hey Charles, how's it going, buddy? One other thing I wanted to talk about is there's a real good there's a feel good story I wanted to share with you guys because Thanksgiving, I'm feeling warm and fuzzy. No, I like stories that end in a good way, and if you guys know Randy Backman from Backman Turner Overdrive from the Guess Who, everybody, I think if you're Canadian, you kind of know who Randy Backman is, right? In any case, Randy actually got very lucky and actually retrieved the guitar that he had stolen way back. This is probably... I think it was in 1976. I think it was 76. Don't quote me on that, but around the 70s, okay? Randy was at a hotel in Canada, in Toronto, and he had a really beautiful Gretch 6120. Chet Atkins model. I don't know if you guys know which one I'm talking about, but he had a really beautiful guitar. This guitar he purchased himself back in the 60s, I think it was. And he worked, cutting grass and doing odd jobs. This was before, he was famous or anything like that. And he ended up scrounging his money and buying this beautiful guitar. He purchased it in 1963, around there. And he loved this guitar, and he would, bring it with him. And he was in a hotel room in Toronto. And funny thing is that he used to actually chain the guitar to the toilet. I guess the case, around the toilet, just in case somebody's like thinking about stealing this guitar. Anyways, even though he did all this stuff, he had left it unattended for a few minutes at one point, and it disappeared. And he was like heartbroken, and he ended up, making reports, getting the Mounties involved, getting the Ontario provincial police involved, and basically talked to all of the vintage guitar dealers and across, North America, begging them to like contact him if somebody came across the guitar for him. Anyways, long story short, he just got the guitar back. This is, I don't know how many years since 1976. You guys do the math. But basically, this guitar was quite something. There were only 35 of these guitars made. And he ended up feeling so bad that he lost this guitar that over the years he would constantly buy Gretsch guitars, kind of like to fill the void. He ended up with over 350 Gretsch guitars to try and make up for the one that he really loved. Anyways, he ended up getting it back. And the really cool thing is that the way he got it back, I mean, he probably thought it was a lost cause at this point, It's not going to be something after so much time. If you haven't gotten it back, it's gone, But it's funny. Somebody was playing around with the facial recognition software that maybe Google's using this. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised. But he had some facial recognition software, and he was playing around with it. And he ended up somehow using it on YouTube on some videos. And he ended up getting a match. And the way he did this really blows my mind. He had a photo of Randy Bachman's guitar, and he matched the grain pattern on that guitar through this facial recognition software. And he basically put the videos on YouTube through the software, and he found the match. And it ended up being a Japanese rockabilly icon called, I don't even know who this person is, Takeshi. Apparently, he's a famous guy in Japan. Maybe Fat Philosopher has heard of him. Anyways, he was playing the guitar, and they got a match, and they contacted him. And sure enough, it ended up being his guitar. So Randy, I guess, swapped another one of his Gretches for his original and ended up getting it back after so many years. What a crazy story. I mean, what are the odds of finding that guitar after so many years? That made me feel great. But at the same time, it made me feel terrible knowing, like, who would be rotten enough to steal someone's guitar? I mean, steal a watch, steal a wallet, steal, whatever. Don't steal someone's guitar. I mean, come on. It's like you might as well steal, a picture of the guy's mother or something like that. You know what I mean? Crazy. So, I know, I just, have any of you ever, I wanted to share that story with you guys. Maybe you guys are not interested in it, but I thought it was pretty cool. Have any of you guys ever gotten a guitar stolen? Like, I can't imagine how that feels. You know what I mean? It must feel terrible. You must feel like so violated. Something that you treasure and you play on a regular basis is gone. Somebody took that from you, I don't know. I prefer to lose my car than my guitars. That's just me. But have any of you gone through that? I'm just wondering. I know there's a bunch of rock and rollers that have gotten their guitars stolen over the years, and some of them have managed to get it back, including Peter Frampton and a few others as well. I mean, if the guitar is iconic, it's kind of going to turn up eventually, right? But for the rest of us, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to. Yeah, so hopefully it never happens to any of us. Anyways, let's talk about something else. So last week's poll question was, what type of gear are you going to be more likely to purchase in the next little while? Overwhelmingly, the consensus was guitars. So I guess a lot of you guys are still looking at purchasing guitars. Fender has come up with some statistics that I think between 13 and 16 million people have taken up playing guitar in the last year or so. So there's definitely been a big spike in people playing guitar. No wonder you're stuck at home. You want to pass the time, you might as well learn how to play guitar. So that's cool. And yeah, Fat Philosopher. Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, Page had his Black Beauty stolen. I don't know. I thought I heard something about him getting it back or something like that, but there wasn't that much information on that. But anyways, um, so yeah, so I guess the industry in terms of guitars is doing quite well. I don't know how many of those millions of people that have taken up playing guitar are buying new guitars, but at the same time, it's great to hear that the numbers are not going down, because at a certain point, it seemed like there was less and less people taking up guitar. So I guess it's making a comeback. Yeah, Billy Corgan, yeah, the Strat as well. Claimed the white paint improved his tone. Yeah, I remember that. And Page's guitar. Yeah. Hey, Joe. I'm not late. Greeting from San Francisco. Nice to see you here, buddy. Yeah, it must be. You're right, Alan. Losing a guitar. It's like, somebody's stealing your soul. It's not fun. Anyways, oh, if anybody wants to see something really cool, I know like we usually talk about guitars on the channel, but I thought I had to talk about this because it was so unique. You know how we were talking earlier about the Silver Sky and how it looks a lot like a Strat, and there's all of that. Well, there's a company called Lieber Guitars, or Lieber, Lieber Guitars. They have a model called the Spellcaster. This is a bass, all right? So I know we don't usually give the bass players much love. There's probably no bass players in the channel or in the chat. Maybe there is somebody that, moonlights as a bass player perhaps, but we don't usually talk about bass gear all that much. But I dabble with bass from time to time. I came across this model. It's called the Spellcaster. It's crazy. It looks like a Strat. I mean, if you look at this thing quickly, and if you guys have a moment, check it out. Just type in Spellcaster guitar, Lieber guitar, Lieber. It even has the trem. It's got 3 single coils. It's got the same layout. It even has a little trem on it. Same kind of bridge layout. It looks like a Strat. It's the first time I ever see something that crazy. Pretty nuts. I mean, people are coming out with crazy stuff. So I saw that and I'm like, I got to tell the guys about this because it's like really unique. So it seems like, uh, bass manufacturing companies are coming out with more unique stuff than the guitar manufacturers are, because it seems to me like the guitar manufacturers are always rehashing the same stuff. I look at the Fender stuff, I look at the Gibson stuff, it's always the same more or less. So, you know, I just wanted to share that with you guys. Gibson is releasing an Epiphone, a new Epiphone model, the Lazarus, based on a Bonamassa model as well. If you guys, maybe you might have seen that already. The Lazarus is a guitar that Joe found. It was a vintage guitar, but it was repainted, and he had the inkling that that guitar was something special because everything else seemed to look like it was something special, but somebody had refinished it, so he wasn't sure. Anyways, he ended up buying a guitar. He ended up getting someone to take the finish off of it, and sure enough, it was like a classic Les Paul. And he named it Lazarus, because it was kind of hidden behind this paint and came back to life, sort of, so to speak. And it was an interesting story. Of course, Gibson snagged onto this story, and they're going to try and monetize anything they can. So they came out with the Lazarus model, and it's $899 if you want to buy it. It's not, besides the finish of the top, has nothing really to do with it. But they claim it looks like it, plays like it. I don't know. Not interested, but I thought I'd mention it in case you guys are Bonamassa fans and you like that particular one. So there it is. Gibson's still trying to throw it out as many models as they can. And I guess the last thing I want to talk about is the fact that Pasadena is unveiling a plaque for Eddie Van Halen. It's been a year that Eddie's gone, believe it or not, guys, Already a year. Seems like just yesterday I was like feeling terrible that we lost Eddie. But I'm glad that Pasadena is putting a plaque in place for Eddie. I'm a little disappointed that it's just a plaque. You know, for me it should be a a bronze statue or something like that. I mean, the guy single-handedly changed the face of rock, changed the way people play guitar. I mean, everybody was trying to play like Eddie Van Halen after he came out. He deserves a statue at least, you know. But a plaque, I mean, hey, we could take the plaque, I guess. But I would like to see a nice bronze statue. I mean, hey, look, you know, Stevie Ray Vaughan has one. You know, I'm sure there's a few other musicians that have these plaques or statues. Why not Eddie? You know, it would be great to have a really cool bronze statue of the guy. He deserves it, you know. And I did a little review, well, not a review, a video, and I talked about Dave. Now that we're talking about Eddie Van Halen and Van Halen in general, Dave, you know, threw in the towel. He's basically retiring. A lot of people might think it's about time the guy retires. I mean, look, I think Dave is past his expiry date. I think he's done more than his share of gigs. I think he's still trying to be Diamond Dave. At this point, I think it is time for him to pack it up. I mean, his voice is not what it used to be. It's kind of odd to see an old man like that try and strut his stuff and still wear the leather pants and everything and try and do the whole rock and roll thing. It's a little bit creepy. I can't use it, but he is Dave, you know, and I'm sure he's doing whatever he can to kind of continue that lifestyle. I mean, this is what these guys know. But, you know, I have nothing against him hanging up the towel, you know, throwing in the towel and retiring. I think it's probably time. I just hope it's not like a health-related decision. You know what I mean? If it's just a lifestyle-related decision, he's done what he had to do, and, you know, it's time to leave, fine. If it's something related to health, I would feel bad to know that. But, you know, there's a lot of people that are retiring, and maybe some other people that should be retiring, and they're not. You know, I mean, look at some other bands. I'm sure we could all think of a handful of other people that are still trying to do it, but are not. They're not hanging in the. I mean, look at Ozzy. I mean, the poor guy. He's like, he could hardly function. You know, I love Ozzy. I think he's great. You know, but he could hardly function. Should he still be around? He's releasing an album. He's going to be releasing an album soon, and there's going to be Jeff Beck on that album. Eric Clapton's going to be playing on that album. Tony Iommi's going to be playing on that album, and I think even Zach Wilde is going to be playing on that album. But as far as what he's capable of doing, you know, hey, he's no Keith Richards. You know what I'm saying? Keith Richards is still buying guitars. He's still like, he's ready to go for another 10 years. It's amazing. But yeah, there's who else is retiring? I heard someone else is retiring. Yeah, I forget now. But there was a couple of other people that were retiring. Oh yeah, sorry. How can I forget? John Mayall, Blues Breakers. I thought he had retired. I thought the guy was dead, to be honest with you. I didn't even know he was still alive. This guy looked old when I was a kid. I could only imagine how old he is now. And only now he's retiring. Imagine that. And Alex Lifeson. I thought Alex Lifeson had retired. But he just made an announcement saying he's no longer going to be touring. I'm like, wasn't that like Kaputsville when the drummer died? Wasn't that like, didn't you guys say that was the end of Rush? I thought that was already the announcement, but apparently not. And he says he doesn't want to tour anymore. So interesting. We'll find out more in a little while about, you know, David Lee Roth. I mean, eventually, you know, if there's rumors, we'll find out the truth. Hopefully things will be okay for him. I wish David all the best. I mean, I have nothing bad to say against David Lee Roth. He tried to do his best. He gave what he had to give, and I think he always gave 100%, at least when he was with Van Halen. I don't know about now, but AC/DC too. Yeah, I mean, nobody wants to see these great iconic bands go, right? Deep Purple's releasing another album. They've been around for ages. You know, there's some bands that are around with different incarnations, different band members. Could we really call them the original band? But at the same time, you know, it's sad to see somebody that you like go. You know, but hey, nobody's getting any younger. Some, you know, we like to remember them in their prime. And it really is a shame when you start watching stuff and you see that they really can't do it anymore. I'm a big fan of the Beatles. I'm a big fan of McCartney. I'm glad I got to see him quite a few years back live. I think he did an amazing job. I was amazed he could still do it. But after that concert that I went to, I started watching stuff maybe about 10 years after that one. And I could already tell he can't do it anymore. It's really hard. I mean, the guy's old. It's not easy to tour, guys, you know. It's not easy to do it at that age. So my hat's off to these guys that can still do it. I probably wouldn't be able to do it now. Never mind. But anyways, it is what it is. Let's enjoy the musicians that we have that can still do it. The ones that can't, and they hang up the hat. You know, we always have the recordings to go back and enjoy. But yeah, you know, there's a lot of older guys that can't do it anymore. I just heard this week that Tears for Fears is coming out with a new album 14 years later. 14 years later, they're coming out with from their last album. I thought they were finished. I thought that was it. You know, I gotta say, Tales from the Big Chair, amazingly recorded album. Still blows my socks off when I listen to it today. The recording on that was amazing. Great band. I like them a lot. Interesting music, very interesting music to listen to. Almost no guitars on it. So one of the few bands that I'll listen to that has almost no guitar on it. But I like them a lot. You know, I think they're great. And it's going to be interesting to hear what their new album sounds like and if they can still pull through. Who knows? Anyways, guys, I'm going to be wrapping it up. I got so much to do today, but I wanted to squeeze in the show. Been talking for about an hour and a half. It's about par for the course. I really do appreciate all you guys tuning in today, and I'm happy to see the crowd is slowly growing, which is okay. Slow but steady is what we want to see. If you guys have not said hello, please say hello so we know that you guys are lurking there in the background. I know there's quite a few of you here today. But as I always say, if you guys are new, the shows happen on Sundays at 10 a.m. Consistently. That's the time slot. So if you guys like to tune in, that's the time slot. Grab yourself a coffee. You know, get yourself a bagel. Sit down. Whoop. Chit-chat. Don't be shy to say hello. All right, guys? Because that's why we're here. I really do appreciate the time we spend together. And you guys do bring up some excellent points in terms of gear. I'm happy you guys share your gear, new amp days, new pedal days, new guitar day. I love to hear that kind of stuff. I will be doing the same. We'll be putting out some new videos this week as well. And I'm going to keep you updated on the stuff that's going on. But that's it for now. So I hope you guys did enjoy the show. I'll probably timestamp this one eventually if I get around to it. If I don't do it right away, forgive me, but I'll try and get to it as much as I can. I appreciate the thumbs up. If you want to support the channel, the best way you can support the channel is to subscribe. If you already are subscribed and you want to support the channel, you can buy some merch. Not necessarily, but definitely appreciate it. It helps us do what we can continue to do here. And the best support I can ask for you guys is to share the news about the channel. So if you have any other people that are playing guitar and like gear and addicted to gear, invite them to the Sunday show. Tell them to check out the videos. It always helps. All right, guys, that's it. Thank you once again. Have a fantastic week. If you're in Canada, have a great long weekend. And we'll be around here next Sunday as well. So don't forget to tune in. Put it on your calendar. All right. Have a good one, guys.